In LA this week,
I'm Rasha Goel. Up next, it's a new era of development in South Los Angeles on the 23rd anniversary of the 1992 LA riots.
a handful of events mark the centennial anniversary of the Armenian Genocide, including a powerful march and a tree planting at City Hall.
One community is shocked and outraged after a series of shootings that left 2 men dead. I'm Gil Reyes in the community of Palms, where a $50,000 reward is being offered for information leading to the killer of one of those victims.
Hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. Baltimore police continue to deal with the aftermath of recent riots following the death of Freddie Gray, who died after injuries he reportedly suffered during his arrest. Here in our own city, more than 2 decades after riots broke out in protest of LAPD use of force, one community is taking an important step in moving past that dark history. Here's Rasha Goel.
It's been 23 years after riots erupted in parts of the city, including parts of South LA. Many businesses were looted, torched, and destroyed. But the hope is a new development to be called Vermont Entertainment Village will mark the beginning of a new dawn. This was one of the areas that was destroyed in the 1992 riots after jurors found 4 officers not guilty in the Rodney King beating. Now this area has been vacant since. Hopes are the new development will also help bring other businesses to the area for an underserved community. That new development, to be located at the intersection of Vermont and Manchester, is approximately 190,000 square feet.
What's really a blessing for us is that we're looking at a grocery store that we need. We're looking at a sit-down restaurants that we need. We're looking at a bank that we need. And we're looking at drugstores.
This is going to be a family-safe environment. It's going to be a place you're not going to want to come in and run out. You're going to want to sit here and enjoy the ambiance.
I was working that night when this city was on fire, literally on fire. And it is so refreshing for me and people like me, many of you that lived through that, to go full circle and basically really have a rebirth of this community.
Area residents say it's time.
I think it's wonderful. Some people don't have to go so far. You know, it's really kind of close, you know, from the distance that the mall or whatever was, you know, before. So I think it's going to also make Los Angeles look good.
A pivotal moment for a community that's waited over 2 decades for this time to come. In South Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
And an update on a story we reported on last week. The Los Angeles City Attorney's Office has handed over video footage to the attorney of the 22-year-old African-American man who says he was beaten by LAPD officer Richard Garcia. Clinton Alford Jr. claims he suffered these injuries during that arrest in South LA back on October 16th. Alford's attorney says her client was already on the ground when Officer Garcia repeatedly kicked him in the head and body. The incident was caught by a nearby surveillance camera and obtained by the city, but was not released to Alford's attorney until the court order last week. Police had arrested Alford because they said he matched the description of a robbery suspect. Charges against him were eventually dropped. As for Officer Garcia, he pleaded not guilty and is scheduled to return to court June 1st. On the 100th anniversary of the Armenian Genocide, the city and its residents took to the streets in a big show of solidarity, over 100,000 strong. Rasha Goel has more from the march.
Flags and posters in hand, thousands joined in the Armenian 100-year march in memory of the 1.5 million Armenian victims of the genocide under the Ottoman Empire.
All human beings must pause to recognize what was done to all of us. And the dehumanizing that comes with denial means we all are a little less human when we cannot admit the history that has been made.
The 6-mile march began in Little Armenia and then ended at the Turkish consulate in the Wilshire area. Joining hand in hand was Councilman Paul Krikorian, the first Armenian American member of the city council.
Earlier this morning, the corner of Western and Hollywood was designated Armenian Genocide Square. We're coming together as one city family to remember the lessons of the Armenian Genocide.
As we march to the Turkish consulate demanding an end to 100 years of denial, the movement of our feet will reverberate across this city, across this nation, across the world.
Marchers of all ages came out to show their support and send a message.
My family was in the genocide, so I think for me personally, for all the other Armenians, for all the other survivors, it's time that Turkey confesses for what they did.
I'm doing it for their memory because they survived, and as it says here, I'm alive because they survived.
According to the U.S. Census data, Southern California has long been a hub for Armenians, with more than 200,000 people of Armenian descent living in Los Angeles County. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
And a day before the march, during another city centennial commemoration event, LA City leaders took a bold stance in semantics. As Gil Reyes reports, their position differs from President Obama's.
On the 100th anniversary of what many historians acknowledge as the Armenian Genocide, Councilman Paul Krikorian helps plant a pomegranate tree outside City Hall. For Armenian Americans like him, the fruit symbolizes survival. Survival from genocide that Turkey says never actually occurred.
100 years later, Turkey is still denying its culpability, and how shameful it is that our own government is complicit in that denial. How shameful it is that our president and our Congress still again today have failed to tell Turkey that no, we do not accept your denial of accountability.
LA City leaders are now urging Turkey and the White House to finally acknowledge the Armenian Genocide, a term to describe the massacre and deportations of 1.5 million Armenians by Ottoman Turks a century ago. Turkey strongly rejects the term genocide, claiming there was never a deliberate attempt to wipe out the entire Armenian population. President Obama has also refrained from using the G word since entering the White House. The LA Times reports he's afraid of offending Turkey, a powerful ally in the Middle East.
But here in Los Angeles, we haven't forgotten. We cannot forget. We'll never forget, because we know that denial is the final act of genocide.
When we mince our words, we give truth to lies. We can't do that. Here in Los Angeles, we won't do that.
This is the first of 100 pomegranate trees to be planted citywide to commemorate the centennial. At City Hall, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Turning now to a $50,000 reward being offered by the city as police continue to seek out information leading to the killer of a Catholic church member. It happened in the community of Palms in LA's West Side. As Gil Reyes reports, it was just the latest in several shootings in less than a week.
The shooting death of 33-year-old Christopher John Paul is the latest in a string of violent incidents to rock the normally peaceful community of Palms. Police say the victim was walking home to his apartment after fetching a cup of coffee. That's when someone shot him in this alleyway just steps from his home. Residents are shocked.
Do you walk to and from school?
Yeah.
Doesn't that scare you to walk around here now?
Most times. I'm very cautious now.
Police say Christopher John Paul was shot from behind in broad daylight here at the gated entrance of his apartment complex. The crime scene now adorned with flowers and other tributes. Adding to the community's outrage were a series of shootings that took place not far from here just 6 days earlier. 27-year-old Justin Aguilar was shot and killed at nearby Woodbine Park on Thursday, April 16th. Police have arrested 3 suspects, one of them now charged with murder. Minutes later, that same day, another shooting erupted at this Palms mini mall. 2 people were injured. Police haven't said whether or not these incidents are gang-related. The city is offering a $50,000 reward in the Christopher John Paul case.
There is absolutely no known motive for why this person was killed. He was a very innocent man. He went to church, daily mass at St. Augustine Catholic Church in Culver City.
We believe there's somebody out there that knows about this, and we hope that this significant reward will help bring them out of the woodwork.
And help bring calm to this community. In Palms, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
If you know something but would like to report tips anonymously, call 1-800-222-TIPS. It's the first step in what may be the start of something big when it comes to the city's efforts to help end homelessness. As Anna Marcos tells us, city leaders say it's time to appoint somebody at the helm, a homeless czar.
The city's latest financial report on homelessness has been a wake-up call for council members. According to the report, the city spends $100 million a year to deal with the 23,000 homeless people getting services on LA streets.
As your report pointed out, you're being kind. You say we're spending $100 million a year. For the most part, we're wasting $100 million a year.
There are people who are homeless every place in the city. There are large concentrations that are obvious, like downtown, and the west side in Venice, along freeways and highways.
To end homelessness, it's not enough to house homeless people. We have to prevent people from becoming newly homeless.
In response to that report, the City Council has approved a plan to form an ad hoc committee on homelessness, the first of its kind. Under the plan, the city would hire a homelessness czar to oversee all departments that deal with the homeless. It would coordinate its homeless efforts within departments as well as with the county. And any groups getting funding for homeless services would have to join a coordinated entry database system that matches homeless people with the right type of housing and services, giving each resident a priority rating.
It's building the affordable housing, wrapping it around with supportive services, identifying the most chronic, the most vulnerable.
The fact of the matter is that we haven't had much coordination internally or even externally.
Some members of the public were not supportive of the plan.
The population of people in Skid Row, including myself and many other people here today, see this? Look at the crowd, are not finding any good results by this council shoe here to address the issue of homelessness. There's little housing, rent's out of control.
Some residents applauded the city's efforts.
This is a great opportunity and a great moment in time for the city of Los Angeles.
The plan would also provide more money for mental health services and police who work with the mentally ill. And it would expand homeless services to areas outside of Skid Row, including the Operation Healthy Streets, a cleanup effort. In cities where similar plans have worked, supporters say, the formula is simple: housing, housing, and more housing. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
City leaders say other cities which are making progress on homelessness include New York, Salt Lake City, San Francisco, Portland, and Seattle. Boarding up abandoned properties with plywood may soon be a thing of the past as LA City leaders take a look at a new, more community-friendly approach to blight. Yana Kay has more.
I've asked Jordan to sling the hammer. Jordan, as a demo.
Using a sledgehammer and swinging as hard as he can, this Council District 10 city employee can't shatter this plastic.
We've had a couple of people take a whack at it with sledgehammers and baseball bats, and it stays secure.
The demonstration was hosted by Council President Herb Wesson at an abandoned home in Mid-City LA to showcase a new product created by the company SecureView. Company executives said the plastic material could be used instead of plywood to secure and protect abandoned properties. They say the product has the look of a traditional window.
The moment you put on a plywood board, you're inviting vandalism, you're advertising the property's vacant, come and get me.
But company officials say this patented state-of-the-art technology will help stop the blight that follows and keep intruders and squatters from coming inside. And for neighbors, it's a winning proposition.
Once they're boarded, you still don't know who's inside of them. People find ways to get past, the plywood. So if you could see inside and see who's in there, that would be a big improvement. So yeah, this is an important product.
For a squatter looking to get inside, company execs say the flexible material is unbreakable and can't even be cut with a knife.
If it was really cleaned up, that people would walk past and just not even look at it.
It looks like a normal house.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Company officials say by improving the aesthetics of the home, the product can also help maintain the value of home prices in the neighborhood. Council President Wesson says he is open to a discussion about how the city can use this product to secure vacant properties within Los Angeles. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
Los Angeles is currently not using the product, but SecureView said it has already installed its product in 5,000 homes across the country. Traveling can be stressful for anyone, but for those with special needs, it can be even more of a daunting endeavor. But now a new program launched by LAX is doing its part to make flying that much friendlier for those with autism and for their families. Here's Rasha Goel.
Passengers with autistic family members can now feel a little more at ease when traveling. Thanks to a new program at LAX called the Flight Experience Program, families can get better prepared for future travel through services offered by Los Angeles World Airports.
Families are hesitant to fly because they do not know how their loved ones may react inside a terminal and do not know how people will respond to their situation.
Our students that have autism, they have problems with transition, and it becomes very scary. And so this way they get to practice these skills.
Los Angeles World Airports has partnered with several airlines for their program. The airlines will be holding mock experiences to provide autistic passengers and their families a chance to see what traveling is like. For many of the kids here, it's their first time coming to the airport.
He has a fear of heights. He didn't even want to come. So being able to come through this step process without any fear and with the help of all the employees, this is excellent.
This is great knowing we can see how he's going to handle, when we actually go into a trip.
Families had the chance to go through TSA screening, sit at the gates, and board the flight, giving them a realistic experience of traveling. Through the program, TSA officers and airport police are also taught about autism and possible behavioral issues that may occur at the airport or in flight, so they are better prepared.
You definitely need patience in this field, especially with children with autism or even any person with disabilities, being very respectful of their disabilities, not outing them in public, different things like that.
LAWA has also initiated an autism self-identification program that allows people with autism to wear a specially designed sticker in the shape of a puzzle piece.
It will alert airport personnel or airport police or the airline that the individual has autism, and in turn it'll let us know how to better serve them.
A new adventure waiting in the wings. In Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
And LAX also made the day of a very special kid named Noah recently. Noah's always had a wish, and as Yana Kay tells us, local law enforcement officials and the Make-A-Wish Foundation helped make that dream come true.
And then we'll put our helmet on you. If it gets too heavy, you can always take it off.
8-year-old Noah Cohen is being lathered with attention from Los Angeles firefighters.
I love it.
Noah, who was born with a rare condition and has endured 24 surgeries since birth, has always wanted to become a first responder in Los Angeles, a dream that was sparked by watching the show Emergency. And thanks to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, his dream became a reality.
He's super excited. He loves anything related to emergency rescue. And so just to have them all together in one place is pretty incredible.
The family flew in from Vermont earlier in the day and enjoyed a hero's welcome at LAX from the Los Angeles Airport Police, LA County Sheriff, and Los Angeles Police and Fire Departments.
We're glad to have you here.
And emergency personnel certainly pulled out all the stops to make sure Noah felt like a true member of the team. After riding shotgun in a fire truck, sheriff's deputies dressed Noah in one of their bulletproof vests and helmet. And he also checked out the inside of an armored vehicle.
This is a fantastic dream come true for my son.
The mission of the Make-A-Wish Foundation is to grant the wishes of children with life-threatening conditions and put a smile on their faces. And for little Noah, his smile was certainly well-deserved. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
LAPD officers are one step closer to using on-body cameras in the field. The former LAPD headquarters could become an official LA landmark, and other headlines in City Beat. The Board of Police Commissioners voted 3-1 to approve rules governing the use of wearable cameras for LAPD officers, such as when the cameras must be turned on, how long the recordings should last, and how the devices are to be maintained and inspected. The Los Angeles Police Protective League, the union representing LAPD officers, supports these policies, saying that video is beneficial in providing a reliable account of events, but should be used in conjunction with other evidence. Opponents say the policies do not address issues such as whether the footage will be released to the public or how the department will be able to use that footage. A special ceremony in honor of recently retired Metro CEO Art Leahy and his family. MTA and Mayor Eric Garcetti unveiled a plaque that dedicates Metro's Division 3 bus yard at Cypress Park in Leahy's name. The recognition commemorates the Leahy family's combined 125 years of service to Metro and its agencies.
It's been a thrill to be at Metro. It's been the best 6 years of my career. We have done things no one else in the country has done.
I know every single day when folks here show up to work, they will look up and say, an operator became the chief. And every single day, my work matters.
Leahy began his transit career as a bus driver for the Southern California Rapid Transit District back in 1971. LAPD's former headquarters, Parker Center, could be designated as a historic and cultural landmark. In January, the city's Cultural Heritage Commission recommended that the 8-story tower and surrounding landscaping be given historical cultural status. This move coincides with the plan on the part of the city's Bureau of Engineering to demolish Parker Center and replace it with a bigger office tower. Conservationists say the building warrants landmark status because of its historic role in race relations and in the modernization of the policing profession. The LA City Council has until May 13th to grant historical status. LA City Attorney Mike Fewer's office has won a temporary restraining order to keep Wilmington medical marijuana dispensary called 420 Collective closed. Fewer says the business is operating illegally under the voter-approved Prop D.
People who are really sick, who are suffering with cancer or other serious illnesses, ought to have access to medical marijuana to alleviate their pain. But there are too many dispensaries. They were too close together. They were too close to schools and sensitive sites.
Fewer's office is also filing civil cases against 6 other Wilmington businesses clustered within a 6-block span of each other on Avalon Boulevard. It was casual Friday on a recent Wednesday in City Council chambers as council members donned comfortable jeans in support of Denim Day, a national campaign that is part of Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Folks are encouraged to wear jeans on Denim Day to stand up against sexual violence. And that's our This Week in Tweets. At LAPD HQ tweeted this photo of Denim Day founder Patricia Giggins, Mayor Eric Garcetti, and LAPD Chief Charlie Beck. Chief Beck also tweeted several snaps. One of them says, "Great event with Patty Giggins and @Guess." Councilman Mitch O'Farrell shared this Instagram photo via Twitter of many of his council colleagues in jeans. He wrote, "In Los Angeles, taking a stand against sexual violence." It's a sign of a well-used park, worn-out play equipment. And at One Valley Park, those aging playground structures are finally going into retirement. Devonshire Park in Mission Hills is well-loved by area residents. Arguably none more than longtime resident Karen, who proudly introduces herself as a professional Polynesian dancer.
I have performed here in the park a couple of years ago. I do Polynesian dance. I'm 1/4 from the island of Hawaii. My husband and I like to come over for picnics and barbecues, and we've had 2 parties.
But that means the well-utilized park and its kids' play area were due or overdue for some much-needed upgrades.
I grew up not too far away from here. This was an area that we would come and play, and at the time, the brand new park was really exciting. But to be able to do what we're doing here, create a new accessible format for young people to play of all ages so that it's convenient to the community, that it's a place where you can have active and passive recreation, really is something that's very exciting.
Councilman Felipe Fuentes and the city's recreation and parks officials cut the ribbon on 2 new children's play areas designed for kids from 2 to 12 years old. Built-in canopies mean kids can enjoy the new slides and swings without worries about the harsh sun beaming down on them. And Karen, yes, the Polynesian dancer, who has lived here since the 1950s, says the park here on Woodman Avenue has come a long way.
This park was a vacant lot when we very first moved in, and it was wonderful. And we got to be a part of the voting to bring the park in. We also got to be the ones to name the park. So when you can do this kind of stuff and see this progress happening, it's a beautiful thing.
But for young Abriana, who lives close to the park, she's concerned with something much more pressing, conquering her fears.
I screwed up this one, because look, watch. See, I'm scared.
A thrill a minute at the newly refurbished Devonshire Park. Devonshire Park is located at 10230 Woodman Avenue in Mission Hills. In this week's edition of Things to Do, a pancake breakfast for a good cause, a tree giveaway, and something special for Mom on Mother's Day. Fill up your tummy and show your support for the LAPD. On Saturday, May 9th, enjoy an all-you-can-eat pancake breakfast hosted by LAPD's SOLID, which stands for Supporters of Law Enforcement in Devonshire. The pancake breakfast will be served from 8 to 11 a.m. with an open house from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., featuring a classic car show and face painting for kids. Tickets are $9 per person for the pancake breakfast. Kids 3 and under eat free. There is no charge for other activities. The event will be held at the LAPD Devonshire Division located at 10250 at Awanda Avenue in Northridge. Go to soliddevonshire.org. Councilmember Mitchell Englander and the group City Plants are sponsoring a free tree giveaway to city residents on Saturday, May 9th from 9 a.m. to noon. You can enjoy a day at the park at Northridge Park and go home with a tree to plant in your yard. There is a limit of 1 tree per address, and the trees will be distributed on a first-come, first-served basis while supplies last. Proof of residence in the city of LA is required to adopt a tree. Northridge Park is located at 18300 LaMarche Street in Northridge. Go to cityplants.org. And don't forget to spoil the mother in your life this Mother's Day. On Sunday, May 10th, the Autry National Center is taking reservations for a Mother's Day brunch at its Crossroads West Cafe for the hours of 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Mother's Day menu includes lemon, blueberry, and ricotta pancakes, scrambled eggs with chorizo, and savory egg sandwiches with house-roasted pork belly. The Autry is located at 4700 Western Heritage Way. To make a reservation for Mother's Day, call 323-495-4329. And that's a look at some upcoming things to do. And that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Ellen Chang. This just so happens to be my last show as anchor and producer of LA This Week after many wonderful years here. I want to thank you so much for tuning in and for your support during my time as host of the show. It's been a real privilege. And with that, I also want to thank all my friends here at Channel 35 and LA This Week. Yana Kay, one of our esteemed reporters and LA This Week's new anchor, will see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.